Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It feels like forever since I've done a video. So glad to be back doing something about movies. I've been doing a lot on Overwatch, and I will continue to do things on Overwatch because it is a freaking awesome game. There's 21 characters, soon to be 22, rumored to be a 23rd coming. The 22nd one's not quite out yet. They've announced her and said a little bit about who she is and what she does and how she fits into not only the story of Overwatch, and there's a story, but not a story mode, it's another story, but how she'll fit into the game. And she's out on the PTR, or the whatever they call it. It's like a place where they test, I guess it's player testing something. Maybe it's PTA, player testing area, I don't know. In any event, it's out there, and people are on the PC are trying it and have commented, and I've seen video clips, and she will soon be on the Xbox, and which is where I play on the Xbox One. Set up your TV for Xbox mute and settings. Oh, interesting. My Xbox is talking to me as I'm sitting here. It hears me talking, hears me say Xbox, and then it doesn't know what to do. Whenever you say Xbox, let's try to listen to you. And it's telling me again, set up Xbox mute and setting. All right. I've got two things to show today from the Criterion collection. Of course, it is Barnes & Noble's 50% off sale. And thank you, Jim, with a bunch of numbers. Jim with two M's and a bunch of numbers for reminding me. And Steve, I can't think of your last name, I believe it was Steve, who wrote me and said, yeah, I'm really not into the video game stuff. When are you going to post something else on movies? Okay, here you go. I've got just two from the Criterion collection that I bought, mainly because I bought a video game. Well, I bought this controller for $150, so, you know, that, and this is awesome, by the way. I bought that for $150, and I've got something else coming tomorrow, which I'll be making a video on that's video game related, and then I think I'm done with video games for a while. As far as buying stuff, as far as playing Overwatch, I'm not nearly done. This game will be around for years, and I'll be addicted to it for probably years. Two things I picked up from the Criterion collection. Spine number 808 and 809. Well, coincidentally, right? Back to back, I didn't know that. And they're past that. I don't know what they're up to now. But, and no, my aspiration is not to collect the entire Criterion collection, although you might not know that if you see what I've got. Water's good for you. I've got my eyes are bloodshot. I've been playing 4 o'clock last night playing Overwatch. So, the first movie I picked up is a documentary. I love documentary movies. I always have, whether it be about sports, politics, history, war, just about anything. I love a documentary. You know, all that kind of stuff. Society, and Criterion collection really does them well. I could point to a number of different ones that are in the Criterion collection. Salesman, one of my favorite Criterions of all. If you don't own Salesman, please at least watch it. I think it's probably on Hulu. A story of Bible salesmen in the 60s and what they went through, the pressures of the job, and it's an amazing documentary. It really is. Love it. And the guys in that are just characters out of a novel, I think. Especially a couple of them. This Irish guy in particular, whose name escapes me. Then there's Grey Gardens, and The Beals of Grey Gardens, two wonderful documentaries on relatives to Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy. It's a segue coming up, and how they lived in really a destitute life in what might have been a mansion at one point, or something that would at least resembled a nice house, turned into littered with cats and cat urine and cat feces and just in disrepair, and gardens that are overgrown, and an interesting mother-daughter who lived there. She who allegedly dated Howard Hughes and some of the richest men in the world at one point, and was, I think, probably a beautiful woman who I think had, is it alopecia where your hair falls out? I believe that might be it. And now wears a scarf over her head. Interesting stuff. And that brings me to this one. And the tie is Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy. This is a series of documentaries made by D.A. Pennymaker and Robert Drew Pennybaker would go on to do Woodstock, I believe, or maybe it's the Monterey Jazz Festival, along with Don't Look Back, Bob Dylan documentary, and others. But this one really was at the forefront. It is the Kennedy films of Robert Drew and Associates. This one on Blu-ray it combines 3 different movies. The Primary, which obviously covered Kennedy during the primary, Adventures on the New Frontier, which is when he first became president, up to Crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then The Faces of November, of course, we'll talk about and show people in the aftermath of the November 22nd, 1963 assassination of John F. Kennedy. Those folks who were alive in 1963 certainly remember that assassination the same way that folks in this generation will remember where they were for 9/11 if they were born. It certainly was a monumental time in our country, a different time in our country. Some people say with the death of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Bobby Kennedy, but particularly John F. Kennedy, because it was such a shock. It had been years since a president had been assassinated. And really, we were living in kind of a golden age coming out of the 50s where, I don't know, everything was like Leave It to Beaverish, It was just that kind of thing. And this really shocked our culture. Well, Robert Drew and D.A. Pennybaker had unprecedented behind-the-scenes access to John F. Kennedy. And before he was president during the campaign, they were able to film him, film Jackie Kennedy, film him, film others as well. I've seen bits and pieces of this. I can't wait to watch the whole thing. It's going to be wonderful. It's a 2K digital restoration of all 4 films. There's commentary. There's a ton of stuff on this. Well, let me tell you, you guys always like to know these things, and I hope you're happy to see me back doing Criterions. I may or may not be done with this sale. I don't know, because I spent a lot on Overwatch and or on video games in general, video game controllers and such. You'll see about the other thing I got that I'm really excited about. This arriving tomorrow. Just a little spoiler or a little teaser. I know you guys like to hear this, so let me. It's a new 2K digital restoration of all 4 films. Alternate 26-minute cut of Primary, edited by filmmaker Robert Leacock. Audio commentary on Primary featuring excerpts from a 1961 conversation between Leacock, filmmakers Robert Drew and D.A. Pennybaker, and film critic Gideon Bachman. Robert Drew, in his own words, new documentary featuring archival interviews and footage, new conversation between Pennybaker and Jill Drew, who's general manager of Drew Associates and Robert Drew's daughter-in-law. Outtakes from Crisis, along with a discussion by historian Andrew Cohen, author of 2 Days in June. New conversation about Crisis, featuring former U.S. military general Eric Holder and Sherrick Malone, Holder's wife, and the sister of Vivian Malone, one of the students featured in Crisis. A new interview with Richard Reeves, author of President Kennedy, Profile of Power. Footage from a 1998 event at the Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles, featuring Drew, Pennybaker, Leacock, and filmmaker Albert Maysles. I always want to say that name wrong. He of Grey Garden, and other things, other salesmen and other things. Plus an essay by documentary film curator and writer Tom Power. So that's a mouthful. There's a lot on this. Let me crack it open as long as I'm babbling on about it. See my time. I'm doing fairly good, I guess. I will spend less time on the second one for tons of reasons. I did a lot of introing on this one. All right, so crack this open. Sometimes these are easier to open. This one's not one of them. Some of the Criterions are like almost split down the middle in the back. I suppose that causes some problems from time to time with the shrink wrap coming off before it's time. But okay, here we go. So it's a lot easier to see now without the quite as much clear, I guess. Maybe not. I thought that was going to be the case. The disc is nice. I'm a big fan of President John F. Kennedy for lots of reasons. Hey, for those of you who've been complaining about no book, not a pamphlet, not a map, an actual turn the page book. I for one am happy. I've been complaining about it myself. Yeah, pictures of Kennedy on the back, some pictures of the authors and Kennedy inside. Robert Kennedy and John F. Kennedy. Kennedy had a charisma. I think Clinton has one as well. I met Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton at a state fair and had a 30, 40-second long conversation with each one of them. Maybe longer with Hillary. More pictures. And each one of them shows scenes from the documentary at the start of it. So, and then the inside has pictures as well. Looks like that might be could be a convention. Looks like the convention, Democratic National Convention. So what a great time to have this come out. You got an election coming up this year for president, so it's timely. Yeah, really excited about reviewing this one. I will do that soon on my channel. And the second movie I got was one that I first of all, I'm going to take the shrink wrap off because I think this one you really deserve to see the cover without all the other prices and everything else that's on this, and the Blu-ray sticker itself. It's not a director's movie. This is a more modern movie. I mentioned it was Spine 809. It's a 2014 movie, 98 minutes long in color. It's in German with English subtitles. Probably new and improved ones, usually are. The cover on this, though, is just, in my opinion, it's a movie by Christian Petzold, called Phoenix. And what got me was the cover. It's a striking cover. I don't know, it just got me. And here she is rising out of the ashes. The story of a Jewish woman during World War II whose husband may or may not have turned her over to the Nazis because he was not Jewish and she was. And of course we know what happened to Jewish people. She was in Auschwitz and somehow survived it. And I don't know why. I can only imagine. She comes out disfigured. She might have been burned. She might have been tortured. She could have been in an automobile accident. I don't know why. I don't think it says. Okay, let's see. I'll read you the back. This evocative and haunting drama, set in rubble-strewn Berlin in 1945, is like no other film about post-World War II Jewish-German identity. After surviving Auschwitz, a former cabaret singer, Nina Hoss, in a dazzling, multi-layered performance, has her disfigured face reconstructed and returns to her war-ravaged home city to seek out her genteel husband, who may or may not have betrayed her to the Nazis. Without recognizing her, he enlists her to play his wife in a bizarre, what's it say? Is it Hall of Shattered Mirrors. Okay, in a bizarre Hall of Shattered Mirrors story that is as richly metaphorical as it is engrossing. Revenge film or tale of romantic reconciliation? One doesn't know until the superb closing scene of this marvel from Christian Petzold, one of the most important figures in contemporary German cinema. So, Phoenix. Striking cover. That is, I believe that says Phoenix. Well, that's the name of the nightclub I believe that she performs in. That says Phoenix. Yeah. And she is like a phoenix, apparently, rising from the ashes. Let's see what's inside. We got a book or booklet, or what are we looking at this time? Now we're going back to the old open it up style. The style that they've been doing for a while. This pamphlet style. I don't care for it myself. as the husband. There is either before or after, I don't know. I don't know where the story picks up. If it picks up before she goes to Auschwitz, or if it just starts when she's out. There she is, post surgery, before we see her revealed. I've seen the trailer for this. I really liked it. And yeah, I don't know what this is exactly, but obviously a bunch of people sitting around tables staring at somebody, perhaps her, as she gets reintroduced into society as his wife, so he can pick up some insurance money, I believe, inheritance. I believe she was left some money, and so she struggles with telling him that she really is his wife, though she bears a resemblance. They don't look exactly alike, because of the surgery and the disfiguration. And then the Kennedy years, Robert Drew and Associates, which I'm really looking forward to both these. They have a similar look to them, though. They're both black and white, sort of. Well, you got some red in there. Anyway, 808, 809, from the Criterion collection. I'll be happy to add these two to my shelf, along with the other 200 or so that are up there. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be uploading this and to my site, and so look forward soon. Take care, and we'll see you again soon with more Criterion and more movie stuff. Thanks. Take care. And more video game stuff. See you.